Good afternoon, and welcome to our March meeting of the Board of Regents. I'd like to call our meeting to order with a roll call. Regent Acker. Present. Regent Beam. Here. Regent Bernstein. Here. Regent Brown. Here. Regent Hubbard. Here. Regent Illich. Here. Regent Myers. Here. Regent White.
Here.
Thank you. I want to start today with news of a national championship, specifically the Michigan debate team. We have one of the oldest collegiate debate programs. We have one of the oldest collegiate debate programs in the country. And for the last 2 years, our student competitors have been the best. Earlier this month, they won the American Debate Association National Championship, successfully defending their 2024 title. No university has secured back-to-back championships in 15 years. And speaking of championships, I wish both our men and women's basketball teams the best of luck as they start the NCAA tournament play today and tomorrow. That includes hosting the first 2 rounds of the women's tournament at Chrysler Center. And the hockey team will compete for the Big Ten title on Saturday. Whether they are making strong arguments or scoring points, we're proud of how these students represent Michigan. This month's agenda includes a request to approve honorary degree recipients for our spring commencement. They are Sharon Abadi, a Nobel Peace Prize laureate and founder of the Defenders of Human Rights Center in Iran. She will be awarded a Doctor of Laws. Ingeborg Hochmeyer de Sawyer, an electrical engineer who pioneered the cochlear implant. She will receive a Doctor of Engineering and deliver remarks at the Rackham Graduate Exercises. Michael Phelps, a world champion swimmer who has won more Olympic medals than anyone, also trained here at Michigan, and he will be awarded a Doctor of Laws. And Regent Emeritus Ron Weiser, an Ann Arbor business leader and philanthropist, served 8 years on this board. He will receive a Doctor of Laws. And Jalen Rose, renowned basketball player who starred here at Michigan and in the NBA, is also a broadcaster and philanthropist. He will receive a Doctor of Humane Letters and will be our commencement speaker at Michigan Stadium. I look forward to presenting this request later in the meeting and to celebrating the achievements of these distinguished men and women. I know many of you are aware that Michigan Medicine is currently negotiating a new contract with Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Michigan. Let me note at the outset that Blue Cross coverage for U of M employees and retirees will not be affected by this contract because the university self-funds its health insurance plan, so we do not rely on Blue Cross to finance it. It is our view that Michigan Medicine and Blue Cross and Blue Shield should be shoulder to shoulder in our collective efforts to provide the best care for our patients. To this end, our goal in this negotiation is to secure a new agreement that will protect our patients and ensure that our Michigan Medicine team can continue to provide the highest quality care to all Michiganders. Sadly, over the past several weeks, Blue Cross has repeatedly shared inaccuracies and untrue claims, many of which are frightening patients. I would like to take a moment to set the record straight. Blue Cross has continued to falsely state that we want a significant increase in reimbursement. In reality, Michigan Medicine is asking for a continuation of its current contract and has offered to base any payments above that on clear and quantifiable performance outcomes. In other words, we are willing to take responsibility to earn a substantial portion of any increases based on quality, safety, and the outcome metrics that both parties accept. If we do not secure a new contract by July 1, there will be a significant negative impact on the ability of hundreds of thousands of patients to secure in-network access to Michigan Medicine physicians, clinics, and hospitals. And these are patients who not only want to come here for their care, but in many cases cannot get that care they need elsewhere. Despite Blue Cross's claims, we want to assure our community members that our current contract remains in effect and patients should keep their appointments as scheduled. We are grateful for the support that we have heard and seen near and far from across the state. Dr. David Miller, our Executive Vice President for Medical Affairs and CEO of Michigan Medicine and practicing surgeon, and his team are doing outstanding work representing the interests of the patients and the university in these critical conversations. David, is there anything you would like to add?
President Grasso, thank you very much for your support of Michigan Medicine, and I would appreciate the opportunity to share a few words. I often speak in my role as an administrator, but today I'd like to speak as a physician and a surgeon. Over the past several weeks, I've continued doing what I've done my entire career, caring for patients. And many of the people I treat are facing complex diagnoses and complex cancer treatment decisions. They travel from across the state to come to Michigan Medicine because they need highly specialized care and the expertise of our teams. Lately, in between conversations about treatment plans and next steps, I've been hearing a different kind of question. What will I do if I can no longer get care at Michigan Medicine? These patients have built relationships with the doctors and the nurses that define Michigan Medicine and help them through the hardest moments of their lives. They are going through the most difficult experiences imaginable, and time and again, we give them hope. And now they are concerned and scared that they could lose access to care. As physicians, nurses, and other members of our care teams, our focus should be on helping patients heal. My top priority is and always has been making sure our patients have access to the world-class care they deserve. And I want to make sure that my colleagues have the resources they need to provide that care, 24/7, 365, forever. That is why I feel strongly about the importance of reaching a fair contract with Blue Cross. As President Grasso said, our proposal is straightforward. Let's keep our current contract in place and earn the right for more only if we demonstrate real value for patients. That approach keeps our patients at the center, supports our extraordinary teams who care for them every day, and ensures the communities we serve continue to have access to the care they need. At the end of the day, this is about doing the right thing for our patients and our families. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Miller. Today's Regent meeting will be the last that I chair. My final day as president is May 8th. While I have the responsibility of leading the university for a few more weeks, I want to spend a few minutes today reflecting on the past 10 months. When Regent White called me in early May 2025 to discuss the appointment of an interim president, I thought she wanted my advice on potential candidates. I wasn't really expecting to be offered the position, but I had no hesitation in accepting. Being president of your alma mater, an institution that also happens to be the best university in the world, is both an honor and a privilege. I have the unique honor of being the only person to have led 2 of Michigan's 3 campuses. And I think that has great potential for a trivia question. I'd like to thank the Regents for their faith and confidence in me. Today's higher education environment is both challenging and stimulating, and I appreciate your deep commitment to Michigan's success. That same environment required me not to approach this job with the mindset of an interim president. There was and still is too much at stake to just hold the wheel steady for the next leader. Instead, and as I have said many times, it was essential to move Michigan into the passing lane and to show now more than ever how we contribute to the public good. We've achieved a great deal. We are more popular than ever among students seeking a Michigan education with record applications. All 3 campuses have seen their first-year student enrollments grow. I particularly want to commend the leaders of U of M Flint for 3 straight years of increased enrollment. Our research enterprise is robust and continues to advance healthcare, boost the economy, and expand our understanding of the world. Nationally, we are second only to MIT in the number of inventions and startups, and U of M Dearborn has become an R2 institution. We have renewed and sharpened our strategic vision, building on the Look to Michigan moniker, while sharing our story more boldly with the nation. Our aim is not simply to be among the finest universities, but to stand as a model university, one that demonstrates how discovery, education, and service can be joined in an enduring commitment to the public good. Guided by that vision, we work tirelessly in the public interest, mindful that the true measure of a great university is not only the knowledge it creates, but the humanity it advances. That includes our $50 million investment in a new Center for American Dialogue. I believe our center will stand out for its approach to tangible results, and I look forward to our soft launch next month, featuring Congresswomen Debbie Dingell and Lisa McClain, and a keynote address by former New York Times columnist and cultural commentator David Brooks. Our vision also includes a $250 million commitment to a biotechnology innovation institute that will accelerate our medical discoveries from the lab to patients faster than ever before. To borrow from Louis Pasteur, our laboratories are the temples of the future, sacred dwellings advancing prosperity and well-being for all humanity. We have the support of alumni and friends as we carry out our mission, particularly with giving of our students and our giving for our students and our research. Our current fundraising campaign has raised $4.5 billion, which is 64% of our $7 billion goal. And we have hired an experienced winning football coach who is committed to our student athletes and who will lead our program with fierceness, dignity, pride, and integrity. More than anything, we have placed a premium on restoring stability and integrity. These are not my accomplishments alone. They are a shared success. We all know that Bo Schembechler expressed this best when he emphasized the team, the team, the team. That philosophy is what makes Michigan the leaders and best. Our students, faculty, staff, and alumni share a love for this university that I believe is unmatched in higher education. I have been fortunate to interact with exceptional scholars, talented staff, and accomplished alumni. And our students, whether in Ann Arbor, Dearborn, or Flint, show maturity and optimism that reassures me we are all in capable hands moving forward. People perform at their best when they feel valued and heard, and when they take pride in the institution they represent. With the insights and support of my executive team, I believe we have strengthened our culture of creativity, curiosity, and commitment to the public good. I am both grateful for and energized by the expertise and skills of the executive officers who sit at this table. I am equally grateful and indebted to the senior leaders from U of M Dearborn, with whom I re-entered the Michigan orbit, who provided me not only with counsel and support, but also with the most memorable experience. I want also to recognize and thank the dedicated staff in the Office of the President. With the upcoming arrival of Kent Severud, they will be supporting their 5th president in as many years. That is not easy, given that each leader has their own style, but the team is consistently professional, and I cannot applaud them enough for their efficiency, goodwill, and loyalty to Michigan. Lastly, I'm thankful for the love and support of my wife, Susan, and our 4 children, Benjamin, Jacob, Elspeth, and Caitlin. No one can do this job alone, whether I've had good days or bad days, and I can tell you this job has many of both. They are by my side. Susan and I may be leaving the president's house, but our hearts will always be in Ann Arbor. There is still much to accomplish in the coming weeks and months. And I am fully embracing a job that I love, the best and most challenging in higher education. I've had many good conversations with President-elect Severud, and I'm optimistic about what's next for Michigan. Nearly 175 years ago, Michigan's first president, Henry Tappan, issued a challenge at his inauguration that I believe should always serve as our North Star. This young university, he said, shall we not carry it forward to perfection? We all want the best for the University of Michigan. We will always, always embrace bold challenges and perform consequential work for the betterment of society. Michigan is and always will be the defining research university, advancing knowledge and enduring service to humanity, the planet, and the public good. Thank you for the extraordinary privilege of playing a part in Michigan's timeless saga, advancing its mission to leave a lasting positive mark on the world today and for generations to come. And as always, forever go blue. Thank you. Thank you. Now we can get on with the rest of the meeting. We will start with Regents Committee reports, and we will begin with Finance, Audit, Investment Committee, Regent White.
Thank you very much, President Grasso. The Finance, Audit, and Investment Committee met today. Committee, including Regents Hubbard, Myers, and White, met with Interim Vice President CFO Bobby Hewlett and Interim Vice President Drew Smith for discussions on debt issuance, and with members of the audit team for an update on a number of audit services. And Vice President Skip Lupia gave a report on the effects of federal research changes. Thank you.
Thank you, Regent White. Health Affairs Committee, Regent Beam.
Thanks, President Grasso. The committee, including myself, Regent Brown, met with EVPMA Miller, Michigan Medicine's CFO Eric Strucko, and other U of M health leaders for discussions on finances and other matters. Several informational reports and updates were also received.
Thank you, Regent Beam. Personnel, Compensation, and Governance Committee, Regent Illich.
Thank you, President Grasso. The committee, including Regents Acker and White, met with Provost EVP McCauley for a discussion with College of LS&A Dean Sabaggio for a conversation on the current state of the university's oldest and largest college. The committee also had a discussion on the coming presidential transition.
Thank you, Regent Illich. I will now turn it over to Provost McCauley to introduce our presentations.
Thank you, President Grasso. And I'll just say it's been a privilege to work with you over the past year. Thank you. It's my pleasure to introduce Professor Derek Peterson, Chair of the Faculty Senate and the Ali Mazrui Collegiate Professor of History and African Studies in the College of Literature, Science, and the Arts. He also serves as Associate Chair of the Department of History. Professor Peterson is a historian of Eastern Africa whose scholarship explores intellectual life, political authority, and historical memory in the region. He is the author and editor of numerous books and articles, including Ethnic Patriotism and the East African Revival, and Creative Writing, Translation, Bookkeeping, and the Work of Imagination in Colonial Kenya. Peterson was made a MacArthur Fellow in 2017 and has held fellowships from the Guggenheim Foundation and the American Council of Learned Societies. As chair of the Faculty Senate, he represents the faculty in matters of university governance and academic policy. Today, he will offer remarks on behalf of the Faculty Senate. Please join me in welcoming Professor Derek Peterson.
Thanks very much, Provost McCauley. Glad to be here. I'm here at a time when Michigan faculty are more interested in shared government than they have been in a long time. We recently expanded the Faculty Senate to include clinical professors. That happened 2 years ago. At the last Faculty Senate meeting, which took place in November 2025, we had over 3,000 voters, by far the largest number in our institution's history. Over the course of the past year, we've been holding listening sessions with clinical faculty up at Michigan Hospital, and I'm glad to have the support of Vice President Miller to be doing that. We've been building solidarity by holding events on Central Campus and North Campus as well, with the goal of creating a sense of common purpose among our colleagues. So it's from a position of some confidence that I come before you today to talk about 3 matters that are currently exercising the minds of Michigan faculty. First, diversity, equity, and inclusion. Second, artificial intelligence. And third, athletics. These are chosen from among a much longer list, but I'll start first by talking about DEI. As you all know, the closure of the Office of DEI in March 2025 caused a great deal of outrage and unhappiness among faculty and students here in Ann Arbor and in other campuses as well. And by an overwhelming majority, the Senate voted last April to urge you, the board, to restore those elements of the DEI program that were legally compliant. Michigan is America's leading university serving the public interest. We've never been afraid to push against exclusionary social conventions that limit access to higher education. We were the first large university to admit women. That happened in 1870. We were admitting black students from 1868 forward. We were by several years before the East Coast private universities got around to doing that. We were the university that admitted Jewish students in numbers in the 1920s and 30s when there were quotas on such things in the East Coast. We were the university that led the legal battle to protect affirmative action with the help of a young lawyer named Kent Severud. The absence of our DEI office makes it much harder to do the work that Michigan has always done, that is, to widen access to higher education for excluded groups. We've lost a guiding vocation, that is, a sense of direction in policy and administration. Schools and colleges are freelancing. Deans are uncertain about what they can or ought to do in this domain. Our approach is scattershot and piecemeal. So I urge you to use the occasion of President Severud's return to Michigan to reopen a dialogue about DEI, not to bring back the Office of DEI per se, but rather to give us all a license to think through what we can and ought to do to promote racial and social equity in our time. A second issue I want to raise with you today concerns generative AI. Michigan's posture has been very decidedly Gen AI forward, and there's now an ensemble of Gen AI tools readily available for our students to use. Michigan's been slower to help us, the faculty, deal with pressing concerns about academic honesty. Gen AI has made it practically impossible for us to work in the way that we've previously done, that is, to assign take-home work, whether problem sets or essays of any kind, on the surety that students will do the work for themselves. Last November, the Faculty Senate overwhelmingly adopted a resolution asking for a comprehensive approach addressing generative AI here at the U of M. In response, this semester, the provost and the vice president for IT have appointed an AI working group. It's meant to produce a report by the end of the winter semester. My view is this: it's not right to have individual faculty left alone to figure out what to do about this for ourselves. It's time that the University of Michigan built infrastructures that put our students at a distance from Gen AI and that gave us as teachers options. These platforms deprive our students of the capacity and the disposition for critical thinking. We need to appeal to our students' better angels and work with them to develop barriers to accessing Gen AI. I have in mind in particular, first, intentional learning communities dedicated to free thinking, where students could voluntarily live and work without easy access to the temptations that Gen AI affords. These learning communities might be modeled after the residential college. Second, a closed platform where students working on essays or problem sets or compositions would be locked, unable to navigate outward to access Gen AI tools. Third, a much expanded testing accommodation infrastructure where students assigned to write class essays or problem sets could work under the supervision of monitors. Many of us are assigning Blue Book essays and problem sets for the first time in a generation. And fourth, a curricular model that clearly distinguishes AI-free courses from those where AI is encouraged. Students and faculty would covenant with each other not to use AI. Courses would be marked as such in student transcripts. A final matter I want to bring forward to you concerns the athletic program. All of us here who teach here are tremendously proud of Michigan's athletic success, and I look forward to seeing Kim Barnes-Orico and Dusty Mays lift a trophy in the next few weeks in the NCAA tournaments. It's one of the coolest things we do here, teaching athletes, that is. But in view of recent events, it seems clear that there's time now to reopen the windows and bring fresh air into the athletic department. In a former time, faculty oversight over the athletic department was vigorous. There used to be something called the Board for the Control of Intercollegiate Athletics that had been established in 1920 with 9 faculty representatives, 2 undergrads, and 3 alumni. Its first assignment, by the way, was to oversee the construction of Michigan Stadium. That work was done with a faculty board managing the whole thing. The Regents simply told them that it, quote, should be handled so as to not overdo it. In 2002, that board was shelved. Yeah, it didn't work out particularly well. No, it didn't work out, no. In 2002, the board was shelved. Its administrative functions were handed to the athletic director. In its place, a new body was formed. It's called the Advisory Board for Intercollegiate Athletics. It's chaired by the athletic director, who sets the agenda for its meetings. There have been challenges to this arrangement. In 2007, for example, the Faculty Senate endorsed a report calling for a senior faculty member to chair the ABIA, but that recommendation did not go anywhere. Today, the ABIA is an insubstantial platform to provide advice to the athletic director. It meets infrequently. It has no powers. By contrast, at Wisconsin, the athletic board has a faculty member chair, works under the Faculty Senate, participates in searches for new coaches, approves contracts, approves departmental budgets, sets policies concerning facilities, and sets academic standards for athletes. Now, I don't know that we need to go the Wisconsin route here at U of M, but I think as a first step toward establishing a more vigorous advisory structure, the ABIA at UM should be amended to have a faculty chair, not the AD, as its head. I suggest also that the Faculty Senate office should be responsible for organizing the logistics. This would bring the ABIA into closer conformity with the 11 advisory committees that currently work with our vice presidents on matters of administration. A second suggestion, I think that UM's new Office of Ethics, Integrity, and Compliance should be given greater responsibilities in relation to the athletic department. Faculty government advocated for the creation of that office. We're glad that it exists. We thought that it ought to have independent investigatory powers and resources permitting it to independently find concerns before they balloon into scandals. Even if such investigatory powers are not given to this new office, it ought to have a presence within the athletics campus so that student athletes and staff would feel comfortable discussing difficult matters with a supportive and independent third party. My overarching concern is this: since 2002, athletics has been allowed to operate as an island unto itself. It's time to open things up. Both light and fresh air are essential for growth. Happy to discuss any of these things at greater length with you, and I want to conclude by inviting you, if you'd like, to come to our Faculty Senate meeting, which will take place on the 27th of April at 3 o'clock in this room. We'll be hearing a number of resolutions and debating about them, but at the start of the meeting, straight at 3 o'clock, we'll hear from President Grasso, who will give us a valedictory address and talk about the forward path for the U of M. You're all very welcome. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Peterson. Now I'd like to call on Vice President Skip Lupia to introduce our next speaker.
Thank you. Research at the University of Michigan saves lives and improves quality of life for people across our state, nation, and world. It also creates economic opportunities for students, faculty, startups, and businesses. It does so in one way through tech transfer, which takes faculty discoveries and turn them into outcomes that make a difference for the world. The University of Michigan does this at a scale that few other organizations in the world can match. Our tech transfer enterprise at the University of Michigan is led by Kelly Sexton, our Associate Vice President for Research, Innovation Partnerships, and Economic Impact. Her work supports and builds one of the nation's most successful programs in tech transfer, IP development, innovations. She engages both large businesses and startups. It's an honor to work with her, and it's an honor to introduce her to you right now. Kelly?
Thank you, Vice President Lupia. It's an honor to be here today, and especially for President Grasso's last Board of Regents meeting. What an honor. The University of Michigan, with over $2 billion in research activity and over 100 programs ranking in the top 10 in their field, is, to borrow a phrase from President Grasso, the best research university in the world. Innovation partnerships exist to take the university's research discoveries and to translate them into new products and services that improve and even save lives, that strengthen communities and create economic growth. Innovation Partnerships is a modernized research commercialization office offering 3 areas of service to our campus community. Our Alliances team helps faculty build research collaborations with industry and foundations. Our licensing team supports the development and protection of intellectual property, and our Ventures team supports the launch of world-changing startups based on university research discoveries. Last year, the University of Michigan broke new records for research commercialization, starting with the 673 inventions created by our faculty, placing us second in the nation behind MIT for volume of invention created. The same year, we supported the launch of 31 new startup companies to take Michigan innovations into the world, another category where we're ranked second nationally. Our goal is to be the top performing university across every measurement of research commercialization, performance, and impact. And the future is incredibly bright, and I'd like to share with you a few stories that illustrate why. In December, it was announced by ASICS, the leading innovator in performance athletic footwear, sports equipment, and apparel, that they had selected the University of Michigan as the home for the ASICS Institute for Sports Science Americas. As part of this collaboration, they're committing $25 million to sponsor research at our campus. This followed a national search by ASICS to identify the best university for this partnership. And I won't name the universities we were competing against. That wouldn't be very nice since we won. So how did the university win this? Well, first and foremost, it's the brilliance and the talent of University of Michigan's faculty. Second, it's having a strategy and the infrastructure to support them in their efforts to win this opportunity. Innovation Partnerships was able to assemble an amazing team of faculty, drawing on our expertise and strengths in fields as diverse as kinesiology, robotics, materials, data science, biomechanics, and orthopedics. These faculty were able to demonstrate the breadth of interdisciplinary research Michigan is uniquely capable of delivering. We demonstrated to ASICS that the university can move at the speed of business from collaboration to contracting. Having ASICS on our campus strengthens our innovation ecosystem and creates new avenues for research translation. Another story starts with a question. Is it possible to have surgery without scalpels, without heat, or radiation? This was the question posed by biomedical engineers at Michigan over 20 years ago, and their answer was the invention of histotripsy, which uses focused ultrasound waves to liquefy unwanted tissue. With intellectual property support, connections to entrepreneurs and investors, our office supported the launch of University of Michigan startup company Histosonics to take this technology and transform it from a research discovery into clinical application. Today, Histosonics has FDA authorization for the use of histotripsy to destroy tumors of the liver. It's been used on over 3,000 patients in the US alone. They have human clinical trials underway to explore expansion for the treatment of tumors of the kidney and the pancreas. And last summer, they announced they were being acquired for $2.25 billion, becoming the second largest venture capital-backed medical device startup exit in history. The significance of this financing event means they have the means to accelerate the development of this technology for the benefit of patients across the world. And they are leading this research and development charge from the Histosonics Advanced Research Center that they built here in Ann Arbor. Another Michigan innovation is strengthening communities by taking evidence-based methods for improving youth mental health outcomes to high schools across the country. Trails is a nonprofit startup launched with support from innovation partnerships that is taking the Trails method to over 2,000 high schools in the U.S. More than 25,000 high school counselors, nurses, and paraprofessionals have been trained on the Trails methodology. This startup is bringing the benefits of rigorous academic research to frontline practitioners and creating an impact for society at scale. The final example I'll share with you today comes to us from Cura Oncology. Cura is a University of Michigan licensee who in November announced that they had received FDA approval for the use of Komzifti, which is a new drug to treat patients with certain forms of acute myeloid leukemia, offering new hope for these patients who currently, prior to Komzifti, face limited treatment options. Komzifti traces its roots to research conducted in the labs of Tomas Kierpicki and Jolanta Grimbecka in Michigan Medicine's Department of Pathology. And it's important to pause for just a moment and think about what this milestone means, because the odds are daunting. Less than 1% of potential drugs that enter the preclinical therapeutic pipeline ever receive FDA approval. And at Michigan, we have achieved this milestone 10 times. Faculty from medicine, public health, dentistry, pharmacy, and the Life Sciences Institute have contributed to 10 FDA-approved therapeutics. Collectively, these drugs have touched the lives of tens of millions of patients. And importantly, we have a strong pipeline of potential new drugs. There are 14 University of Michigan potential therapeutics currently in human clinical trials initiated by innovation partnerships, licensees, and startups across hundreds of sites worldwide. In 2023, we conducted a national survey of universities and found that University of Michigan's therapeutic commercialization portfolio was among the top 3 in the nation. Our medical device portfolio is equally impressive, with over 30 marketed devices like the Histosonics system currently available to patients today, and another 10 medical devices currently in clinical testing being overseen by innovation partnerships, licensees, and startups. In closing, the momentum we're seeing today is truly nothing short of remarkable, and it's the result of years of investment by university leadership in creating the infrastructure and the strategy to support University of Michigan faculty in their efforts to have impact at scale. I'd like to thank the Board of Regents for this opportunity, university leadership for your ongoing support, and the University of Michigan's community of researchers whose work continues to inspire. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Sexton. I'd now like to call on Regent Myers, who has some comments.
Thank you, President Grasso. Thank you for the time today. I've got to say, one of the most rewarding parts about my service on this board is all the wonderful people I meet and watching their wonderful, talented accomplishments. Today, I'd like to recognize and brag about one of our own, Michigan Wolverines, and congratulate Ethan Van Skyl. Ethan has recently been added to the national touring cast of the Tony Award-winning musical, The Outsiders. The Outsiders just finished a well-received run at the Fisher Theater in Detroit. And Ethan describes himself in the playbill as a proud graduate of the University of Michigan Theater Program class of 2024. Ethan, we're proud of you and proud of our musical theater program. As noted in the website, the University of Michigan Department of Music and Theater is the #1 ranked musical theater program in the country, with alums working in every field of the entertainment industry. It was also noted that this highly competitive program, and listen to this, admits just 22 to 24 students annually from over 700 applicants. Ethan joins fellow Wolverine Nolan White, who plays the lead in The Outsiders, Ponyboy Curtis, and the show has moved on from Detroit to the next stop. So Ethan, we congratulate you and go blue forever. Thank you.
Thank you, Regent Myers. I'd like to call on Regent Bernstein.
Thank you, President Grasso. I'd like to read a resolution on behalf of the entire Board of Regents. The Regents of the University of Michigan extend our sincere appreciation to Domenico Grasso as he completes his one-year term on May 8th, 2026. Domenico has dedicated himself to elevating U of M's impact through the Look to Michigan vision and campaign. He has reaffirmed confidence and pride in our institution while also encouraging our 3 campuses to consistently demonstrate our collective service to society and to be the leaders and best for the public good. His leadership includes the previous 7 years as an executive officer of the university and as the 6th chancellor at U of M Dearborn, the first Michigan graduate to lead that campus. His leadership saw U of M Dearborn triple its external research funding and move to R2 status, increase graduation rates by 11%, and launch the Go Blue Guarantee to support students. He has also served as professor of civil and environmental engineering in Ann Arbor and of public policy and sustainable engineering in Dearborn. When chairing his first board meeting about a year ago, he said that he came to U of M in 1983 to pursue a doctorate in the College of Engineering. That is also when he met his wife, Susan Hall, a fellow engineering student. He went on to say that both experiences changed my life. To be sitting here some 40 years later is a tremendous privilege. Domenico, your University of Michigan career has come full circle. And on behalf of the University of Michigan Board of Regents, thank you, Domenico, for your integrity and service and for leading this institution, your alma mater, when called upon to do so. We wish you and Susan and your family all the best in your retirement. Thank you.
Thank you, Regent Bernstein. Now, I'd like to move on to, before we move on to the consent agenda, I will call for a vote of conflict of interest items, each of which requires 6 votes for approval. Does anyone need recusal from voting on a particular item? Is there a motion to approve finance and property items 5 through 10? Second, okay. Show of hands in favor? Okay, opposed? Motion carries. We now turn to the consent agenda, beginning with a report from Chancellor Scarlatta.
Thank you, President Grasso. I have a couple of updates. Last Friday, we held our 3rd annual Undergraduate Retention and Graduation Summit on campus. At this event, faculty and staff from across campus came together to learn about and discuss promising practices that are helping us retain students and ensure their timely graduation. This year's event focused on how our campus is responding to AI, demographic shifts, and online learning. The event included a panel of students discussing their perspective on AI, and many faculty and staff were present to hear their thoughts. We also held a faculty panel discussion on innovation and integrity in AI last month. Dr. Tazeen Daniels, an associate director of the University of Michigan's Center for Research on Learning and Teaching, gave a fantastic keynote address. And Ravi provided closing remarks. Thank you again, Ravi. It was a thought-provoking conversation. We very much appreciate Ravi and Tazeen joining us and their expertise. And some very exciting news from athletics to conclude. Our women's ice hockey team won the Central Collegiate Women's Hockey Association Division I Tournament Championship for the first time in program history on February 22nd. They are right now at the American Collegiate Hockey Association National Championship in St. Louis, and they started playing at 3 o'clock. So hopefully, I wish them luck, of course. So two of our players were also recently featured on the WXYZ Evening News, speaking about the significance and the Professional Women's Hockey League's first nationally televised game, which will be broadcast from Detroit's Little Caesars Arena on March 22nd. So these are my updates. As usual, go Blue and go Dearborn.
Thank you, Chancellor Scarlata. Now for news from Flint, Chancellor Alexander.
Thank you, President Grasso. I'm pleased to report that U of M Flint's student-run newspaper, the Michigan Times, officially relaunched this semester, marking the return of independent student journalism to campus. The relaunch was driven by increased interest in applied learning opportunities in journalism and professional writing. The reconstituted publication currently is available online at mtimes.org and is building a new staff of writers and editors with plans to resume print editions later this year. Also, Ash Arter, an assistant professor of art, was one of 56 artists selected from a pool of more than 460 to exhibit in the Whitney Biennial 2026 in New York City. The landmark annual exhibition series is the longest running survey of American art, with more than 3,600 artists participating to date, including Jean-Michel Basquiat, Nan Golden, Roy Lichtenstein, Georgia O'Keeffe, Jackson Pollock, and Andy Warhol. Works for this year's exhibit are focused on what it means to be in relation, from familial and societal to geopolitical perspectives. Professor Arter's work will be on display at the Whitney through August 23rd. We extend our congratulations to Professor Arter on her selection for this prestigious exhibition. And also, the College of Innovation and Technology recently hosted Revving Up STEM, an event that used motorsports engineering, data science, and real-world racing applications to encourage middle and high school students to pursue careers in STEM. More than 180 attendees explored interactive racing simulations, viewed a race car display, and heard directly from professionals connected to NASCAR, IndyCar, and motorsports entrepreneurship. A live panel discussion that highlighted the careers in engineering, data and software development, marketing and media, project management, and other technical fields that power the racing industry behind the scenes rounded out the event. And finally, this year's Common Read book, Unraveled, by Maxine Beda, follows the life of a pair of jeans, revealing the global process of getting clothing to us and what happens to garments when we donate or discard them. Following a keynote address by the book's author, U of M Flint capped off Common Read Week by hosting Wear It Forward, an event that transformed the campus into a runway with a mission. Students from the theater costume design class reimagined clothing pieces from Wolverine Essentials for 12 volunteer models from across the campus in the Flint community who brought the looks to life. President Grasso, that concludes my campus report. Go Flint and go Blue.
Thank you, Chancellor Alexander. That concludes the consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second, all in favor? Say aye. Opposed? The motion carries. Moving to finance and property. The first item is University of Michigan Dearborn Social Science Building College of Business relocation. Vice President Hewitt.
Nothing to add, Mr. President.
Is there a motion to approve? Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Palmer Commons second and third floor renovation. Vice President Hewlett.
Nothing to add, Mr. President.
Second? All in favor? Okay, motion carries. Third, utility tunnel reinforcement medical center campus area. Vice President Hewlett.
Nothing to add, Mr. President.
Second?
Yes.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries. Is there, okay, the fourth is Ronald McDonald House ground lease extension and expansion. Vice President Hewlett.
Nothing to add, Mr. President.
Okay, motion to approve? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Yeah.
Yes. Conflicts of interest were approved earlier in the meeting. We have an additional item for approval under Section 10, the University of Michigan Dearborn Administration Building naming. I am pleased to bring forward a request to name the administration building at the University of Michigan Dearborn in honor of Daniel E. Little. Dan served as U of M Dearborn, served U of M Dearborn as its fifth and longest serving chancellor, leading the university for 18 years. He was also an executive officer of the institution. He was a remarkable leader who enhanced U of M Dearborn's reputation and influence across Southeast Michigan. As his successor as chancellor, I appreciated how effectively he had positioned U of M Dearborn for impact and service. The President's Advisory Committee on Historical and Honorific Naming has reviewed this recommendation, which I enthusiastically endorse. Is there a motion to approve? Second? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Next item is new graduate degree program in Taubman College of Architecture and Urban Planning. Provost Macaulay.
Nothing to add, Mr. President.
Is there a motion to approve? Second? All in favor? Opposed? Okay, motion carries. Next, we will hear from Central Student Government President Eric Veal, Jr.
It is with profound sense of gratitude and reflection I submit my final report to this board of the Veal Corn administration. As my term concludes next month, I look back on this year not just on a series of meetings and reports, but a masterclass in the power of true delegated governance. This year, we moved beyond the suggestion box, and whether it was serving on the Presidential Search Advisory Committee, launching a graduate student task force, hosting student leaders from across the Big Ten, creating a seat for students who are militarily affiliated students, or working to establish a permanent student government endowment. Our goal remained consistent, ensuring student government serves as a conduit for lasting institutional change. This year, we really focused on a movement to empower all students across our campus. This year, we had tangible results. We promised a government that delivers, and I'm proud to stand before you today with a record of results. We formalized a partnership with the Princeton Review, allocating nearly $4,000 in test prep materials and 40% discount vouchers. This removes the pay-to-play barrier of haunting admissions processes for studying. Additional programs like Maze and Blazer, Operation Graduation have ensured that financial status never dictates a student's ability to dress for an interview or walk across the commencement stage. Basic needs and housing. Our grocery bus pilot served over 100 unique riders in just 2 days, providing a massive demand for equitable food access across this campus, and we were able to fill those gaps. We also are working on a pilot gap program that will make sure that students in August have a place to stay as they transition between leases. We also gave over $400,000 to over 300 student orgs across our campus, and also are in the process of shifting our model to make it possible for students across this campus to be able to fund their student orgs without having to foot the bill beforehand. We also have had an incredible relationship with Congresswoman Dingell and our federal relations team, which this week will be traveling to DC to talk about the issues affecting students across this campus. One of the most vital pillars of our platform this year was about the unit student government fee. Our Vice President Corn has worked tirelessly with University Council in working to get a fee that's not $1.50 but reflects the 2026 inflation. For unit student governments to actually be able to implement the work that they want to get done for students across this campus. For us, this is not just about a budget, but it's about sustainable student advocacy. So today, I urge the board to not look at this so much as an expense, but an investment in self-governance and students across our campus, as this is increasing the ability for students to lead themselves. While my time in this role is drawing close to the end, my commitment to the work still stands steadfast to my last day. We are working tirelessly to ensure a seamless transition, building the bridges and fostering relationships with our successors, and we will hit the ground running and giving them a launch pad for success. The progress we made this year is not seen as a foundation at us. It is seen as a runway and never a ceiling. I'd like to thank the board for their continued work, partnership this year. This year we reached great heights, and I believe that we can keep working if we continue the principle of empowering all students across this campus and building that relationship. To University admin, your presence, I have to say, the students' address, your consistent meetings, and your willingness to work with us in our administration is not just symbolic to us, but it is a recognition of student voice and about how important and pivotal it is to our campus. Thank you for choosing to be partners with us in this mission. I want to particularly thank all of you, but I want to take a moment and say thank you, President Grasso. From day one, you reached out to us and worked together, and we appreciate it, and students across this campus value that partnership and the work you've done. I also want to thank Vice President Harmon for all the time and work you've put in to meeting with us and giving us advice and helping create a better student experience here. On a personal note, I want to thank you for believing in the kid who was quite eager to come here, but I really appreciate all the time you've put important into me. And lastly, we want to thank Dean Jones for supporting us throughout this year, and the advice was integral to make this year as possible and making sure that students across this campus knew who their student government leaders were. To our student government team, I want to thank you for the countless hours and the meetings and the diag and the union refusal to accept the status quo. We shifted our culture within student government from approval to alignment, and the results speak for itself. I want to thank our chief of staff, who has worked tirelessly to support our administration, as well as babysit Lucas and I. It's quite a task, but Haley, we thank you for all the work you put forth. I also want to thank Lucas Korn, our vice president, who actually has a quiz in class today, so he could not be here. But he manages to see the good in everything, and I thank him for being the vice president that the student body deserved and that I needed. And finally, to the student body, you are the heart of this institution. You are the temple of the mission of the institution. That mission is not to be just the greatest public institution, but to be the greatest institution dedicated to the public good. And you have been a fantastic stakeholder, challenging us, inspiring us, and proving every day that all students do better when all students do better. Serving you has been the greatest privilege that I have had thus far. Thank you all, and forever, go blue.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Eric. And I just want to say, I know, I just want to say it's been a real joy and privilege working with you over this past year, and I've been very fortunate. Thank you very much. Regent White.
Eric, thank you so much for your incredible leadership, selfless service. Every time we needed you as a leader to help us and work with us to make sure we healed everything with the student body and trying to work together, you and your team stepped up, and Lucas as well, to thank him. I really enjoyed meeting all of the leadership and how much you work for the people of this institution. It's really impressive. And I know you'll be friends to the institution forever, but please continue to stay in touch.
Thank you.
There we go. Eric, it's been a great privilege to work with you since we first met on that Zoom call when you were in Australia.
It was Madagascar.
Oh, was it Madagascar?
It was both. It was both.
It was both.
You guys were a week apart.
Well, you've been an impactful, thoughtful, effective, principled leader. And I hope we can continue to have our dinners at Pizza House. And I'm just very glad to have gotten to work with you. And I know you're going to have enormous success in the future. So thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, I'd like to reiterate. I think I mistakenly thought the last meeting you spoke was your last meeting in this position. So I said some words then, but I just want to reiterate, our regular meetings that we had, you were a zealous advocate for your constituents, and you made me a better regent, and I really, really appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, I would just echo that. Actually, it was great to see you on Friday at the Hillel 100th anniversary, and I just got thinking about how much you've actually accomplished over the last year. It's pretty impressive. In the 7 years that Regent Brown and I have done this, we've seen student body presidents come and go, but there's very few that we know will have a real lasting impact on the institution, and you will. And that's a pretty amazing thing to get to do. So thank you for everything. And yes, please do not be a stranger. I'm sure we'll see you again soon.
Vice President Kinsey will now take us through public comments.
Thank you, President Grasso. We are now moving into the public speaker section of the meeting. As part of their regular meeting agenda, the Regents and the board set aside time for individuals to present comments to the board. In keeping with reasonable and appropriate norms of decorum, all attendees, including speakers, should treat others with respect and civility. Individuals who are approved to speak will be expected to speak to the topic that was submitted during registration, submission, truthfully disclose all relevant organizational ties, and promptly cease speaking after the allotted time for speaker. Speakers who do not adhere to these rules may be precluded from addressing the board at future meetings. This is in addition to the guidelines outlined in the comment policy. With that, I'd like to call upon our first speaker, Lila Singer. Welcome, Lila. You have 2 minutes to speak when you're ready.
I'm here with UMPNC. My unit just moved into the new pavilion. It's a beautiful new building where we provide world-class care for neurological patients. It's extraordinary, spacious, it has incredible amenities, and in fact, it's so big that I could scream at the top of my lungs for help, and my charge nurse, who's 2 rooms away from me, cannot hear me. On January 3rd at 5 a.m., I was physically assaulted by my patient. I will never be the same nurse as I was 75 days, 11 hours, and 30 minutes ago. My charge nurse was in a room 2 doors away, and she could barely hear the smallest and most quiet yell. To this day, I have no idea how long I screamed for. There I was, straddling my patient, trying to keep them from pulling out their breathing tube, their life support. I was being punched repeatedly. My colleagues piled on top of me to keep the patient in the bed. After what could have been 2 minutes or possibly 30 minutes, the patient was finally adequately sedated. I've since been diagnosed with PTSD. I have flashbacks, night terrors, panic attacks. I am constantly picturing his face and fearing for my life once again. If we didn't have safe staffing that day, I would not be alive today, and neither would my patient. Can you imagine what happens on shifts that we are not adequately staffed, which happens all the time? U of M nurses need to be heard when we bring up concerns. We take care of the sickest, most complex patients in the state, even people from across the country, giving them the best chance possible at recovery and success, even against all odds. Yet management is proposing at the bargaining table to weaken the staffing language in our contract. What happens when it's you in the bed? You beg your nurse for help with getting something to eat, using the bathroom, brushing your teeth, and they say, sorry, I have to prioritize other lives right now, maybe later, but later never comes. This is not hypothetical. This is a scenario that takes place regularly at hospitals across the country. Michigan Medicine didn't listen to nurses as far as the pavilion layout, and they're not listening to nurses now. Our patients are more acutely ill and medically complicated than ever before. We need better staffing, not more ways for administration to cut corners. Don't let Michigan Medicine become another hospital that our community fears to live in. I support our bargaining team as they fight for what nurses and our patients need. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. I'd like to welcome our next speaker, Kara Burness. Hello, Kara. Welcome. You have 2 minutes to speak when you're ready.
Thank you for your time and consideration and for agreeing to speak with me today. My name is Kara Burness, and I am here on behalf of myself and my classmate Haley Littman. We think that student advocacy is essential, which is why we are here today to speak with you all about the proposed Supercomputing Research Center in Ypsilanti. I am a lifelong Michigan resident, and I grew up in Ypsilanti, so this project is extremely important to me. As I'm sure you are aware, there's been lots of controversies surrounding the university's collaboration with Los Alamos National Laboratory on this project, and many oppose the construction of the facility in the first place, including us. Through our research and work with State Representative Jimmy Wilson and City Council members, we have found that the Ypsilanti community feels confused, exploited, and excluded from the process, and we come today to propose what we feel would be the best plan moving forward. We are not alone in this endeavor, as several student advocacy groups, as well as individuals from all sides of the political spectrum, have expressed frustration with the university's methods of pursuing this project. We recognize and appreciate your previous attempt at transparency through hosting an open house in Ypsilanti this past January, as well as various press interactions and statements. However, these attempts have not adequately improved understanding nor involved the community in a meaningful way. To address this, we strongly advise the Regents and university leaders to host a minimum of 2 recorded events where students and community members can ask questions, obtain clear answers about the project intentions, and voice their concerns. We request these meetings be made publicly accessible, that presenters identify themselves and their affiliation, and that materials presented may be photographed. Additionally, we urge you to consider the way this facility will perpetuate the pattern of exploitation and environmental racism that characterizes the relationship between our university and the Ypsilanti community. We request that you enter into a community benefits agreement with officials that acknowledges and specifies concrete positive outcomes that will be provided to Ypsilanti through the project, such as the repair of parks and environmental hazards and contractual commitments to hire employees who will reside in the community long-term. We know that the university is invested in the social and economic health of its students and surrounding community. We are available and willing to answer questions and engage in conversation further. Thank you.
Thank you.
Kara, sorry, I lost you for a second. Can you? I just had a question for you real quick. So I want to make sure that I understand, because I actually agree with you. I think that we need to have clear and defined community benefits. Can you take me through, like, what was that part again? Like, what do you see those community benefits being in order to say in your mind that this kind of center would be acceptable to you?
Yeah, I think a lot of the work that we did was with State Representative Jimmy Wilson, and so he had a lot more experience speaking with people. I think the main issue or the fear, and this is kind of based on other data center projects, and kind of like what people are thinking on the state level, is that it's going to provide not as many jobs as promised, and also not as many jobs to people actually living in the community, which is super important. I think there are also a lot of fears around the environmental impact. I know the university is trying to go about it in like the most environmentally conscious way possible, but just like the potential hazards it could pose to the university. And so that was kind of where Jimmy was saying, at least some sort of exchange. So if we're going to build it here, we can offer to pay for restoration of parks. We can offer this many concrete jobs. I think people are just very confused, and they expressed that the open house in January was much more of like a closed, like presentations without opportunity for question and answer.
Okay. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that.
Of course. Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to welcome our next speaker, Larry Junk. Hello, Larry. Welcome. You have 2 minutes to speak.
President Severode, President-elect Severode, President Grasso, Regents, and other U of M leaders. I'm a professor of neurology, active emeritus, with 47 years of connection to this great university. I'm here to urge you to maintain a strong commitment toward our carbon neutrality goals. I represent Voices for Carbon Neutrality, a group of faculty and alums which for 8 years has worked constructively with U of M leaders. Most of the leadership knows us and respects our ideas and our commitment. Why should U of M prioritize carbon neutrality? First, we have the momentum. The U of M President's Commission on Carbon Neutrality, after wide input, produced a plan in 2021, which has been highly regarded by all and was unanimously passed by the Regents. It has been widely supported by the university community and by 3 presidents including President Grasso. It connects with multiple pillars of our strategic vision, especially energy, climate action, sustainability, and environmental equity, also human health and well-being. Excellent sustainability leaders are in place. Some progress toward reducing our carbon footprint is taking place. Second, our principles of valuing our Earth and all of its people require this plan. We must strive for the major health benefits that come from improving our air quality and from mitigating the ongoing and future effects of climate change. Third, while the plan costs money, it saves in the long run. U of M must take the long-term view. Fourth, U of M's reputation depends on it. We can be in the lead among universities while showing new ways for the state of Michigan to move ahead towards a healthy climate. In the process, we attract the best faculty and students. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Larry. I'd like to call upon our next speaker, Bob McMurray. Hi, Bob, welcome. You have 2 minutes to speak when you're ready.
My name is Bob McMurray. I'm with the Code Pink and with the U.S. Peace Council. My message here is very simple. The People's Republic of China is not our enemy. Over the past year, this university has seen 5 Chinese nationals who came here to study and do research wind up in a prison in Sanilac County Jail on charges that normally would be administrative matters. I wish I could say I understand why this university refuses to, may not want to make enemies within our current government, but I don't. If you believe the university can get along or go along to get along, you are fundamentally misunderstanding the animus and disdain that our leaders have towards institutions of higher learning. Right now, we are at war with Iran, another rerun of the spent dreams of old men who refuse to leave the stage. I continue to have faith. I look to Michigan that this university can be the birthplace of a new and better future for all of us. The University of Michigan has a responsibility to increase cooperation and understanding between all nations, and I would say in particular with nations that we consider nations of concern. As regents, you have a responsibility to seek out and listen to alternative perspectives. You are the guardians of our best and brightest. I feel confident in saying that no student or researcher here wants a Cold War with China, or worse, a shooting war. They want to shape a new world. That's what they're here for, to dream and prepare for a future that's theirs, not their fathers or the grandfathers. Listen to our students. Listen to your students. If you cannot imagine a world at peace, you will extinguish their future. We ask the university to stop cooperating with a geopolitical witch hunt aimed at promoting conflict with China. I continue to have faith in this university. I ask you to help my unbelief. Thank you, and go blue.
Thank you. I'd like to welcome our next speaker, Vanessa Shamani Fakori. Welcome, Vanessa. You have 2 minutes to speak when you're ready.
Thank you. Hello, I'm Vanessa Shamani Fakori, and I'm currently in nursing leadership at Michigan Medicine. But today I'm here as Maria's mom. On October 31st, 2019, I heard words that no parent wants to hear. Your child has cancer. What we thought was just a mass in Maria's kidney, something surgery could fix, quickly spiraled. While Maria was in the OR, her surgeon, Dr. Erica Newman, noticed concern from the pathologist and made a split-second decision to go back in and surgically remove anything that may be affected in the area. That decision likely saved Maria's life. Weeks later, we got the diagnosis, an extremely rare cancer called Dicer 1 anaplastic sarcoma of the kidney. There had only been 26 cases, Maria was 27, and she's the first pediatric case. There was no protocols, no research, and there was definitely no clear path forward. But her team at Mott didn't hesitate. A large multidisciplinary team, inclusive of adult and pediatric physicians, came together and built her plan, endless rounds of chemo, constant adjustments, and unwavering determination. After nearly 2 years, Maria went into remission. When we finally thought we could move on in our lives, cancer had left its mark on Maria, and it led to a new lifelong diagnosis of stage 2 kidney disease, and as of December, progressed to stage 3. Last month, something as simple as strep throat turned terrifying. You see, we live in Rochester Hills, and we drive by 4 hospitals to get to Mott. And for the first time ever, I decided to take her to a local pediatric hospital for IV fluids because it was something simple. 6 hours later, Maria was rushed by ambulance to Mott. Within minutes, they found fluid around her heart and her left lung nearly full. What should have been simple became life-threatening, but Mott saved her life again. I was once told by another hospital to take Maria home and make memories. Mott has never given up on her. I love Mott so much for so many reasons, but most of all because they gave me my Maria back. And every kid deserves a chance like Maria. Thank you.
Thank you, Vanessa. I'd like to welcome our next speaker, Sarah Lorenz. Hello, Sarah. Welcome. You have 2 minutes to speak when you're ready.
Good afternoon. I'm Sarah Lorenz. I'm a student working on a career change through a graduate credential in real estate development. And I'm the founder of a new nonprofit called the Ann Arbor Community Land Trust. A2CLT was sparked by a 2019 Taubman Conference on building equitable communities, where I met others who were also worried about the disappearing opportunities for homeownership. We believe that every community has an obligation to ensure that there's housing for employees that make that community possible, including our pre-K to 12 teachers, our first responders, our city and university and medical center employees. 12 months ago, we listed 26 homes on Zillow to be built this year in Ann Arbor, not at the median home price of $600,000, but at $325,000, $225,000, and $125,000. Yes, we have charted a path to homeownership for any university employee with a full-time job, anyone from kitchen cleaner to new faculty member. Our Zillow listings have directed these critical employees to join our buyer wait list. After 12 months on Zillow, we now have 905 households on that list as of this morning, and 480 of those are university employees. I thought it would be many more, so I am very encouraged. I feel that this is a solvable problem. Imagine a future where accepting your dream job at this world-class institution does not mean that you have to accept the financial instability of perpetual rentership or commuting that drains you of thousands of hours and dollars. Imagine instead it means the opportunity to buy a beautiful small home and become a member of the community that you make possible. Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to call upon the next speaker, Kate Huron. Hello, Kate. Welcome. You have 2 minutes to speak when you're ready.
Hello, I'm Kate Mehuron. I'm a co-founder of Equality Chelsea, which is a nonprofit, charitable nonprofit in Chelsea, Michigan, that is dedicated to helping LGBTQ people and their allies live their best lives and to treating everyone with dignity and respect in Western Washtenaw County. We are outraged by Michigan Medicine's decision to end gender-affirming care for minors as authorized by you, the University Board of Regents. Many activists in Equality Chelsea are parents and friends of transgender people. Many activists in Equality Chelsea are also alumni of the University of Michigan and/or have their own children enrolled at the University of Michigan. Your decision creates familial chaos and uncertainty, leaving Michigan youth and their families bereft of access to gender-affirming healthcare services. Your action is not merely a policy change. It's a betrayal of trust and commitment to medical best practice, a direct erasure of the rights and well-being of LGBTQ youth, and a shameful capitulation to authoritarianism in our country. Your decision to undermine the duty of medical professionals to provide care is unacceptable to us. Your action directly threatens young lives, increases suicide risk, and denies families the ability to make the best medical decisions for their children. Gender-affirming care is evidence-based and life-saving, and to end it out of fear of legal or political retaliation is nothing short of cowardice. Michigan Medicine, we think, has a moral and civic responsibility to serve all members of the public. Thank you.
I think that reaches the end of the public comments. Is that true? Thank you. Well, I first want to thank everybody who spoke today. It's an important part of our process. It informs us on many really important things. Specifically, I would like to thank Ms. Mahurin. I agree with everything she said, and Equality Chelsea is an amazing organization. Lastly, I would like to thank Ms. Singer for her service to the university, and I'm so sorry what you had to go through. You know, the nurses are the heart and soul of our medical system, and thanks to all of you for coming and speaking today.
This meeting's adjourned.